Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Prepper Dave, and this is Welcome to the Apocalypse. I know it's been a while since last we talked. I had an eventful week in the foothills of Central California as I hosted a get-together of preppers in training. Now, I'm quite fond of the question and answer session of this show, and we will get to that shortly. But this last week, I decided we needed a little hands-on training, and I thought it might be important to hold some physical classes. The kind of classes you can't take in a virtual setting. You can't learn this shit in Zoom. Fuck Zoom. Who the f goes to Zoom classes anyway? Middle schoolers? Bullshit. You need to get down and dirty. You need to get in the trenches. You need to learn this shit in a real world setting. We need to make sure we are better suited to face the Grim Reaper in the event of another societal collapse. So I hastily put together a plan. The training took place in a small, rustic cabin in the mountains. The training was grueling and intense, and early on, I felt the men begin to grow a little complacent and comfortable in their surroundings. I felt they were getting a little bit leisurely in their pursuits. Their bodies had been softened by years of drinking California's blue state drinking water, and their minds turned soft by the pansy culture that is quite prevalent here. As a leader, I had to do something to get their attention. Like preppers do, I had planned for this occasion. In prior weeks, I traveled to the wilds of Montana. I braved grizzly bears, wolves, wild mongoose, kangaroos, in search of a master who could mold these men into survival Jedis. And when I found him, I trained with him myself and brought him back as kind of a survivalist Hail Mary of an instructor for these men. Meet Roger and his son Jeremy. If you look up scary motherfucker in the dictionary, you'll see a picture of Roger. He's so damn paranoid and crazy, he don't even use words with the letters A, T, or F in them. When Roger was born, he didn't cry. No, he scowled. He scowled at the doctor, he scowled at his mom, he scowled at his dad, he scowled at the other babies in the little baby room. At the age of 7, he fled from the comfort of his home and went into the wilderness of North America, where he honed his survival craft until he became a master. He was obviously the man for the job. When Roger arrived, he was chomping at the bit to get in that house. At first, the men were shocked. They weren't used to his style. I believe the boys at one point grew wary of Roger. They were scared. I myself had my misgivings, and I wondered if I had done the right thing. All right, Kurt, what did you think of Roger?
Man, I don't know, man. This kid's shit on me, man.
All right, Jeremy, what do you think of Roger?
To be honest with you, he's lost his mind. He's a scary motherfucker.
I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Roger scares the shit out of me too. When I went to visit him in Montana, he told me to dig a hole. He said if you fail, I'm gonna fill it with you in it, dead. If you succeed, you ain't gonna be in that hole when I fill it in. I'm a little scared, folks. I started to wonder if Roger was gonna come in my room at night and cut my throat while I slept, bury me in a shallow grave in the woods for the bears to drag off to feed to their cubs. Roger trained the men hard. They trained in fishing, hunting, improvised anti-tank explosive devices, stealth kills, crochet, leatherworking, foraging. But then a strange thing happened. They began to form a bond. By the end of the second night, I'll be damned if I didn't see Roger crack a smile. We ate well and finished the evenings with sporting activities and lighthearted banter.
If we were sitting right here and Tim was here and we said, we're gonna go next door and kill that motherfucker, Tim would be like, let's roll.
Yeah, with his machine, with his machine gun in his truck.
He's like, which gun do I use?
Yeah, today's a good day to die. Let's roll.
When all was said and done, we bid each other farewell and promised to meet again next year. The men returned to their homes, their minds and bodies sharpened by the experience, and we all decided to make sure we met again every year to make sure these skills were kept on an acceptable level. As I promised earlier, I'm still going to answer some of your questions, as it appears we have time for that. So no more bullshit, let's get into it. Keith W. asks, question for your next video. In breaking news, you made reference to getting a Harbor Freight machete. My wife has banned me from Harbor Freight. Can I use a sport from KFC? Keith, there's so much wrong with this question. I don't even know where to begin. Your wife banned you? Can you use a spork? Keith, you can absolutely use a spork. The best way to start is take that spork and go digging in your wife's purse. Perhaps you can find your testicles, which are most certainly secreted inside. However, since you are banned from the world's cheapest hardware store, I would take that as a free rein, a license if you will, to shop for some higher quality, more expensive gear. Fire up that credit card, Keith. Go wild. As far as I'm concerned, it looks like you got permission. Second question. Julie D asks, what do you think about the stupid list of approved activities put out to follow, like singles volleyball and no dribble basketball? How about instead of talking about some pansy governor's list of approved activities, we talk about one of Prepper Dave's activities? I'll tell you, this first activity is called not listening to authority figures, especially when they're Last question. Nate E asks, is Bill Gates really going to do microchip implants with his fake vaccine? Then Nate wrote 666 and drew a bunch of these fucking crazy demon faces. You mean Bill Gates from Microsoft? That's some far out shit, Nate. Let me think about this for a minute. Let me think back to when I actually used Microsoft products. Honestly, Nate, I ain't worried about anything put out by the creator of the Microsoft Zune media player and the Microsoft Windows Phone. Hell, I don't even think that dude could put out a product that worked at a serviceable level. Hey, that's about it for questions. But before I go, I gotta give a shout out. Congrats to the Douglas crew for putting out the most hardcore photograph I've ever seen in my existence. Check out this hardcore group of folks, all sporting their Welcome to the Apocalypse t-shirts. They are all a bunch of crazy motherfuckers. There would have been one more in the picture, but Grandpa pulled guard duty. He was out watching the supplies, make sure Colin Carrot didn't creep trying to steal his shit. Congrats, Douglas crew. You guys are hardcore American survivalists and preppers. Hats off to you. And with that, we're gonna close. Keep an eye out for these hardcore preppers. And with that, I will say, until Valhalla, I leave you with some pics from other hardcore preppers.